Again, can I have a show of hands? Who here has experienced toll fraud in your network? Quite a few, right? So that's a big problem. And there are various ways, actually, for those of you who haven't, let me briefly explain. This may be a little simplified, but as I understand it, maybe you're deploying ComPortal, so users have a website they can log into, and maybe your user thinks that the most secure password they can put on their account is PASSWORD. And then maybe there's a genius hacker who somehow manages to guess what that password is, log into their ComPortal account, and set up unconditional call forwarding to North Korea. And now suddenly you've got a secret tunnel where all the spies can call this number and get forwarded to North Korea, and you're racking up millions of minutes in charges. That's the very simplified version of how this works. And there are various ways that you can try to secure this. Right? For a start, you can not allow password as a password. You can also try to reduce the impact of the problem, maybe by preventing call forwarding to international numbers. And Metaswitch have MOPs for all of this stuff, best practices that you should follow. But you also want to spot the problem if it does happen, because there's a big difference between the customer noticing this when they get their next bill in a month's time versus you spotting it the minute it happens. To give you an example in a totally different context, last year I was selling my house in Ohio, and I moved out of state, so I wasn't there. And naturally, the Ohio real estate market booming, there were thousands of people going through my house every day. Maybe not, no. Actually, maybe one a month were going through my house with a realtor. So I was a little surprised when I got a water bill for over $1,000. Now, maybe if there were like 20 people in the house constantly showering, maybe that would have been justified, but there was literally nobody in the house. So I was a bit puzzled, and we worked with the water company, and they looked for leaks and so on and so forth. And eventually, the best we could come up with was that there had been one or perhaps several toilets constantly flushing 24/7 and somehow used up 40,000 gallons of water. If I had been smart, if I had a smart home, had some home automation, if I had a smart water meter, that water meter could have been looking at the water usage, looking at the patterns. It could have spotted that continual high water usage is an anomaly. It's not what usually happens. And it could have alerted somebody the first day it happened, or even slowed the water use, right, potentially. In the same way, with toll fraud, there are applications that use machine learning from people like Equinox or Transnexus, who are both here, that look at your CDRs, look at your call statistics, and look for the patterns, and look for the anomalies. And if they see something that looks odd, they can raise an alarm, or in extreme cases, maybe shut down service on that line. So that's an application of machine learning in our network to solve a real expensive problem.